So, welcome back. Today we have a device that's quite old. It's a big switch, basically. Well, it's a big switch with some dials and a Dremel attached to it. It's called a knee switch, and you can use your knee to press at the side of your desk to change the speed of your Dremel. It's from a dental laboratory, and yeah, it's quite old. I think it's from the 1980s, and I got it because it's broken. It's basically not working anymore. I tried the Dremel itself. It seems to work. Right now it's at 3.7 volt. I think it starts running at about 1 volt and goes up to, I think, about 50 or 80 or something like that. And it can do maximum 40k rotations per minute. That's yeah, quite good. But since this works, we're gonna put a focus on the main switch, because I took the freedom away to already remove the screws from the top. It's just a few screws, not much. And let us take a first look inside that thing. Yeah, since it's a Dremel, there's a little bit of dust in there. I think, yeah, that just happens. Over here we see a date. It's from '88, so it's from the late 80s. And if we look at the whole thing, we can see a few things of the start. We see here a few diodes, quite big ones. I guess that's for the full bridge rectifier. Then we have three quad operation amplifiers, probably used for driving the whole thing. Over here we have a power transistor. My guess is that's for the power supply somewhere. And over here we have a power supply chip. Then over here we have a linear voltage regulator, classical 12 volts. Yeah, that's basically everything I can see from the start. The action itself is actually, you press the thing down and it translates it over a rack and pinion mechanism to the potentiometer over here. But I'm not sure if you can see it in the footage, but quite directly below that rack and pinion mechanism there is a condensator, and the rack is missing with every stroke the condensator by mere millimeters. I think it's like almost touching it. That condensator must have had like 30 years of almost getting hit. Kinda scary for it. Yeah, but that's basically I can see from the start out. That over here, I'm actually not quite sure. It could be an isolation transformer. There is some inscription on the side. To make sure here, because that's a quite dangerous condensator, I shorted the whole thing out before I touched anything here, and it said it was away like a week from the mains, so it should be empty by now. But if you repeat this at home, be careful. This condensator, it can definitely kill you if it's charged. So over here we see, not quite sure, I can't read it because there's some kind of foil over the label. We may have to look up that one later. Yeah, but it could. My big guess is we have here two wheels. The main wheel back here is for setting the maximum rotation speed, so that's your upper limit. This one generates a voltage that's in this fat condensator, the maximum voltage. And this voltage then is switched over the power transistor to the output, to the Dremel, and by this switch. And that's basically it. I think today this whole PCB would probably be like this size because it's only 160 watts. So yeah, it just looks complicated because it's complicated and big because it's old. Modern components would make the whole thing a lot smaller. But we will see, because I'm not really sure what is broken with this one. I can hear a high-pitched noise if I set the rotation to very high, so there is definitely something happening. My first guess would be that the power transistor is just broken. So it gets the signal to switch, but it then isn't able to. That would explain the noise maybe. Yeah, but since I didn't find any documentation about this device online, I basically have to reverse engineer the whole thing. But since it's 1980s analog electronics, that should be doable in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm gonna reverse engineer the whole thing. Maybe leave a subscribe if you want to see that, and see you next time.